What happened to tribal chiefs? Before arrival of British, tribal chiefs were very important as they enjoyed a good economic power. But after the British arrival, their power decreased and they had to work as British agents. They were allowed to make and follow some local rules. Additionally, they were also forced to follow British rules. The chief was needed to act with a tribute for the British by losing their authority. British people were unhappy with the shifting cultivators. They wanted them to get settled like a peasant cultivators as they were easier to control. The tenants had to pay rent to the landowners. For settling the Jhum cultivators, British did not get success. Ultimately, they allowed them for shifting cultivation in some parts of the nation. Tribal groups' lives were highly connected with the forest as they lived there. But British declared those forests as their own property and did not allow the tribal to live there. This created a problem of labor shortage for cutting trees. So they offered some lands of forest to the Jhum cultivators for living. They looked after the forest and ensured for supplying the cheap labor. In later years, tribal people realized that many moneylenders and traders were coming to forest and offering work and loans to the tribal. They realized there was something in it. British started the silk export with their efforts where the silk growers were earning very little as compared with other middlemen. Let us take an example of Santals who reared cocoons for silk as it was in great demand in European markets. Also, East India Company encouraged the silk production by tribal groups after getting the demand. The middlemen bought the silk from the tribals and sold them at the much higher prices to the company, and the growers earned very little. Understandably, many tribal groups saw the market and the traders as their main enemies. Many tribal groups went for source of work far away from their home, and their conditions were even worse. Tribal groups were also recruited in large numbers to work in the tea plantations in Assam. Though they got the work, but their wages were very low and they were not allowed to go back to their villages. Thus, we can say that the colonial rule had affected the tribal lives drastically. Every phase of their lives and livelihood witnessed the impact. Through the 19th and 20th centuries, tribal groups in different parts of the country rebelled against the changes in laws, the restrictions on their practices, the new taxes they had to pay, and the exploitation by the traders and the moneylenders. The Kols rebelled in 1831–32, Santals rose in revolt in 1855, the Bastar rebellion in central India broke out in 1910 and the Warli revolt in Maharashtra in 1940. One such rebellion was led by Birsa Munda.